What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, all right? Thinking anxiety symptoms into existence. Is it possible? We're going to cover that today, so you want to stick around to the end of this video because there's going to be a lot of value packed in here today. But you know what time it is. Smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt today. Leave me a comment, guys. Let me know if you deal with this process. I suspect pretty much all of you have if you've dealt with anxiety disorder, anxiety symptoms. I dealt with this a lot, but I'm going to cover that in just a second. If you are new here, please subscribe. If you're watching this video from Facebook, because I posted in my Facebook groups. If you're watching from Instagram, head over to YouTube and subscribe. We're a huge family here and tons of videos, close to 1,000 videos like this that help people recover from anxiety. I've been down that road and I fully recovered 100%. Guys, I did do a Cyber Monday sale. It was supposed to end last night at midnight, but I'm gonna extend that sale all the way until tonight, 12 a.m., which is midnight Pacific time. So that's roughly another 14 hours. If you use the code anxiety25 off, you can get this amazing anxiety recovery course. If recovery is what you're wanting, this course is for you. The link for that will be down below in the description and in the first pinned comment. I'll tell you a little bit more about it at the end of this video. Okay, so again, today's topic is thinking anxiety symptoms into existence. Now, don't confuse this with imagining symptoms. That's something that I really don't believe in too much. I think it's more so our hypersensitivity. Also, it's combined with the doctors telling us they can't see nothing on these tests, so they don't understand why we're feeling this way. I don't think anxiety sufferers, especially if you've been dealing with this for a year or two or more, realize how focused, how aware, how sensitive you are to the things that are going on in your body. So let's take muscle tension, for instance. Muscle tension is huge when it comes to anxiety, right? Tension everywhere. It causes a lot of secondary symptoms. That's going to be hard to come by on a test, right? I don't know. There might be some test out there that could detect tension if it's severe enough. But if you have a little bit of tension in your back, it may be at a 7 from a 1 to 10 scale of pain for you. But that's because you're so sensitive to it. And it's in my belief, that when you're super sensitive to things, your pain threshold is lower. It's not the same as somebody over here that's not sensitive or not hyper-focused or in tune with everything going on in their body, right? So I believe that the symptom's actually there. It's real. It just may not be as severe as you think it is, right? It's just the sensitivity to it, the focus, the awareness. You've been doing it for so long, mixed in with the catastrophizing, right? And the negative thinking, the spiraling negative thoughts. You know, what is it? Could it be this? Could it be that? And whenever we put that negative energy into it, it can magnify and intensify. So I believe it's a combination of doctors telling us that they can't see nothing on a test and us being super sensitive to even the smallest symptoms that anxiety can cause. And sometimes they're just normal bodily functions that we're experiencing that we just never felt before because we weren't this in tune with our body, or we weren't this sensitive to it. An example of that is like digestion. Before my anxiety, I couldn't really feel food really going through my digestive system. Once I developed anxiety and had it for a few months, I could feel every little thing going on down there. Same thing with my head, same thing with my chest, my heart. But I'm not a huge believer in imagining symptoms. I think that there's at least a small symptom there, but it's magnified by our focus and our hypersensitivity. So I wanted to get that out of the way. I do, however, firmly believe in thinking anxiety symptoms into existence. We see something, we hear something, we think about it, and then the symptom pops up in some fashion or form. And this happened to me over and over and over again, and it's wild, it's unbelievable. It was hard to wrap my mind around how powerful my mind was. But I'm a firm believer that you can see or hear about a symptom, you think about it for a little bit, and then your brain can send negative energy or tension or the symptom to different parts of your body, and it can happen very, very quickly within seconds. It seemed like the longer that I had anxiety, the better I got at this. In the beginning, I would read an article or something, and the next day I would start to feel that stuff. But as time went on, I could read an article or Google something, and by the time I'm done with that article, I already have 3 or 4 of the symptoms that I read about. So I'll start with Google. I tell you guys not to Google. It's not good. It leads you down the wrong path. If you have health anxiety, I honestly think it's going to be hard, if not impossible, to recover from health anxiety until you get rid of Google. I'm not saying you can't ever Google in the future whenever you've recovered for a while. I'll let you make that decision, but right now you got to get away from it, because this would happen to me over and over and over again. So I would have a symptom, for instance. I jump on Dr. Google. I type in the symptom. Of course, some horrible cancer or something's going to pop up at the top, depending on what the symptom was. I click on that article. I start reading it. I see the symptom that I was looking for. I'm like, okay, there's that. And then I read all these other symptoms. And, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, do I have that? Have I had that? And by the time I get done with the article, I have like 3 of those symptoms already. And like I said, the longer that I dealt with this, the better I got at this and the faster the process was. And this would happen with all types of different disease scares that I've had, with different symptoms that I would have. If I had a new symptom, I always jumped on Google, looked it up, found out what the disease was, and then I saw the other set of symptoms, and my body would start sending these signals or symptoms or energy to whatever body area was associated with that symptom, right? Pretty mind-blowing, but it happened to me over and over and over again, and I'm not sure everybody that I'll tell this to will actually believe me. I'm not sure every doctor will believe me if I tell them this, but it really freaking happened, all right? So that was with Googling and just reading, okay? Hearing stories about somebody dying or developing cancer, I would develop symptoms pretty quickly with that after hearing it. Heart attack stories, heart issues and stuff like that, hearing about that from friends or family or, co-workers. There was an instance where my co-worker was telling me that his dad had a heart attack, and he didn't understand because his dad was so healthy and he was playing basketball, and then, his chest started to hurt. And then as he's talking to me, my chest is tightening up. My chest is starting to freaking hurt. My heart rate is going up. My blood pressure is going up. Before you know it, I'm in full-blown panic thinking I'm having a heart attack. So that's an example of hearing a story from somebody. This would happen all the time. So now I'm avoiding people that talk about disease or talk about their cousin dying or this. I'm hurrying up and getting out of the room. Made me kind of look rude, but I was like, look, I'm going to think that I have that disease by the time you get done telling your story. So that's an example of that. Commercials, things on TV shows. I've talked about the smoker commercials. I see those still occasionally, and it'll be like, I never thought I was gonna have a heart attack at 38, but here's my scar. And I all it would take was just me seeing something like that, like don't smoke or whatever, and I'm like, I used to smoke, and then my chest would start to hurt, and I'd develop the symptoms, right? This is a real interesting one. I know a lot of you guys, before you had like health anxiety, maybe you would watch like House MD or ER stories, paramedic shows. Grey's Anatomy was a popular one. I can watch that stuff now, but back then it's like I couldn't. It was too triggering. And like for instance with House, he was a doctor. And he would always have this, some patient that has this weird symptoms or unexplained stuff. It's not traditional. It's not easy to diagnose. And he would like figure it out, right? Because he was like the guru or, the disease whisperer or whatever. Like he could figure it out, right? By the end of the show. But I would watch this, in the beginning when I first developed my health anxiety, not realizing that it was going to trigger me because I used to watch it all the time. And this patient would come in, have these weird symptoms, and then midway through the episode, I'm having those symptoms too. And now I find myself avoiding all of those shows, movies, the same thing with that. If there was a movie with a cancer patient, they were complaining about something hurting, I would start hurting there too, believe it or not. This is really common with movies that had heart patients or somebody having a heart attack or heart failure. That was horrific because that was my worst fear. I had heart anxiety and cardiophobia for so freaking long. Anything heart related would freak me out, and that was like my fastest acting symptoms. Those were the ones that would show up out of nowhere within a second or two. So imagine how horrific it was for me sitting there with either my ex-girlfriend or a friend or a family member, and then somebody in the movie, right, has a heart attack or just collapses. Instantly, I would go into panic mode. I'd have to get up out of there and leave. So it led to a lot of awkward situations. I mean, that's what a lot of this stuff does. hearing stories and you're sitting there talking to somebody and they start talking about this and you have to jet up out of there real quick because you can't listen to this, you know, because you know it's going to trigger you, or watching movies or TV shows and stuff and you have to leave. Imagine being in a movie theater and having to hurry up and get out of there. I've been there as well. So I just want you guys to know, if you're dealing with this, you're not alone. Hopefully this brought some peace to you. I'm not big into imagining symptoms. I think there's something there. You are feeling something that is real. It's not just in your head, but our sensitivity to it and our focus and maybe our lower pain threshold makes the symptom feel worse than what it actually is. Something, for example, globus hystericus, we've heard of that, right? The tension in your throat. It feels like there's something lodged in your throat. So many of you have dealt with that. I've dealt with that. It really does feel like there's like a golf ball in there. So many people will go to the ER or make appointments with the ENT scared that they have throat cancer or something's growing in there, and then they'll go down there and look and they see nothing, but you feel like there's a freaking golf ball in there, right? That just goes to show that a little bit of tension that can't be picked up or seen can feel like something much more than what it actually is. It doesn't mean that that's fake or that you're imagining it. It's just showing that you're super sensitive to it. And I can go on and on and on about this with so many different symptoms, you know, during my anxiety journey. But just know that you're not alone if you deal with this, all right? So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so freaking much from the bottom of my heart for watching all of this. It helps the channel out whenever I get higher watch time, and that's important because it can get my message out to more people. So if you made it this far, I want you to go down below in the comment section, and in all caps, I want you to put, symptoms are real. Symptoms are real. What you're feeling is real. You know, you're just sensitive to what's going on, okay? You're hyper-focused, and then we have a negative mind towards those symptoms, and it magnifies it, makes the symptom much, much worse, okay? But remember, guys, I'm extending the Cyber Monday sale all the way until tonight, midnight Pacific time. So by the time this video gets out, that's probably like 13-ish hours left to take advantage of that promo code. Remember, it's Anxiety25 off. I'm gonna put the link to my course. You'll find all kinds of testimonials and reviews, video and text reviews, and what the course is all about. You can see the curriculum, exactly what is gonna be in that course. So I know a lot of people don't like to get something or purchase something if they don't know what's in it. Every single thing is gonna be laid out. The curriculum's there. I made it that way on purpose so you could see what's going on. But I'm gonna put the link to that in the description and in the first pinned comment. Remember, use promo code Anxiety25 off. It brings it from $67 down to $42. Don't put any spaces before the code or after the code, or don't copy and paste it. Just type it in as is and hit enter. Otherwise, it'll try to say that it's invalid, okay? I know some people have run into that problem. So be sure to take advantage of that, guys. If you want recovery and you're ready to put in the work, it's gonna show you step by step what I did to recover 110% from panic attacks, health anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, all the symptoms that I've talked about. I struggled for 5 years, but once I developed a strategy and I was consistent, I overcame it. And I want you to live the life that you deserve, like I'm living the life that I deserve, all right? So take advantage of that. There's other resources down there, guys. You know, like this video, please. It helps so much if you got value out of this. I am going to be uploading another video in probably about 5 or 6 hours this evening. So if you want to come back and check in later, there will be another video up. I don't know what it's going to be about yet. I'm kind of winging it today, but there will be another video. Remember to subscribe if you are new here. Hit the notification bell so you get updates when I put these videos out. The description has the online therapy link if you have never tried therapy, Facebook groups, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. All that stuff is going to be there. I'm going to put the video that I did last night up here, so go check that out if you haven't. And until next time, guys, keep fighting. I love you all.